Today, in Russia, there are memorials to the night witches, statues, museums, streets named after them. In Ingalls, where they trained, there's a monument, Po2 playing on a pedestal, with the names of all 32 women who died. Every year, aviation clubs gather. They fly vintage Po2 south, recreating those silent glides. The sound that once meant death to German soldiers, now a tribute, a memory. The night witches flew 23,000 combat sorties, dropped 3,000 tons of bombs, terrorized the most powerful army in the world with wooden planes, open cockpits, bombs thrown by hand. They were told they couldn't. They did it anyway. They were mocked. They'd proved everyone wrong. They were forgotten. But their story survived, and now? Their story inspires millions. Young women who want to be pilots, who want to be engineers, who want to break barriers. They look at the night witches and think, if they could do that, I can do this. That's the power of their story. Not just what they did, but what they represented. Courage, determination, refusing to accept limits. On dark nights over the Eastern Front, German soldiers heard thee and trembled. Today, that sound means something different. It means possibility. It means breaking barriers. It means women refusing to be told no. This was the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. The Night Witches. The women who hunted Nazis with wooden planes and iron will on warbound secrets. And remember, when they tell you it's impossible. The Night Witches weren't the only women who changed World War II. In Britain, female codebreakers at Bletchley Park cracked the Nazi Enigma code. Arguably did more to win the war than any general. Women like Joan Clark, working alongside Alan Turing, broke impossible codes, saved millions of lives, and were sworn to secrecy for 50 years. It's a story of genius, secrecy, and women who changed history from behind desks. Click the video. Subscribe for more untold stories. Today, the Night Witches are recognized as heroes in Russia, in the West, everywhere. But what's their real legacy? The military legacy. The Night Witches proved female combat pilots are effective, not a liability, not a risk, effective. Modern air forces around the world now have female pilots, combat pilots, because the Night Witches proved it's possible. The US didn't allow female combat pilots until 1993, 50 years after the Night Witches. Israel, France, UK, all have female combat pilots now. All inspired, directly or indirectly, by the Night Witches. The tactical legacy. The Night Witches' tactics are still studied in military academies. Silent approach, psychological warfare, harassment bombing. Minimal resources, maximum effect. Modern militaries use similar tactics. Drones, stealth aircraft. The concept is the same. Strike from darkness, disappear, strike again. The Night Witches were doing this in 1942 with wooden canvas planes. The feminist legacy. But the biggest legacy? Proving women can do anything. In 1941, the idea of women as combat pilots was laughable, impossible. Women are too weak, too emotional, too fragile. The Night Witches proved that wrong, definitively. They weren't just as good as men. In many ways, they were better. Smaller, lighter pilots equals planes can carry more bombs. Better multitasking equals better navigation plus bombing simultaneously. More discipline equals fewer reckless risks. The Night Witches had advantages, and they used them. The survivors. Most Night Witches are dead now. The war was 80 years ago. Nadezhda Popova died in 2013, age 91. 852 missions. Until her death, she gave speeches, told stories, inspired young women. She said, "We weren't heroes. We were just doing our duty. But I'm glad our story is known. I hope it inspires girls to be brave, to fight for what they believe in." Irina Sabrova died in 1008 missions. She became an engineer after the war, worked on Soviet space program. One by one, they've passed. The last surviving Night Witch died in 2017, but their story lives on. The Night Witches show us that limits are often imaginary. Everyone said women couldn't be combat pilots. The Night Witches did it anyway. Everyone said ancient biplanes were useless in modern war. The night witches proved them deadly. Everyone said psychological warfare was minor. The night witches terrorized the German army. They took every nitrogen monoxide and turned it into Watchame, and they did it while being shot at, while freezing, while watching friends die. That's the legacy. Not just military achievements, but human achievement. Refusing to accept limits, refusing to be dismissed, refusing to quit. That's what the night witches teach us. And that's why their story matters, not just for women. For everyone. When someone tells you that you can't do something, remember the night witches when obstacles seem impossible. Remember wooden planes bombing Nazis. When people dismiss you, remember the hoosh sound that made the German army tremble. May 1945, the war ends. The night witches return home. Heroes, right? Not exactly. The Soviet Union celebrates its victory. Parades, medals, honors. Male pilots are honored, given promotions, pensions, hero status. The night witches, they're quietly disbanded. Thank you for your service. You can go home now. Back to being women. The disrespect. Here's the outrage. Despite flying 23,000 plus combat missions, despite 23 women receiving Hero of the Soviet Union, the highest honor, the night witches are excluded from the main victory parade in Moscow. Why? Because Soviet leadership decides women marching in military formation doesn't look good. They're told, go home, get married, have children. Be normal women again. Many of the night witches are furious. We risked our lives for years, and now we're dismissed? But Soviet culture in 1945 is rigid. Women are expected to return to traditional roles. No exceptions. The struggle. The night witches try to continue their careers as pilots, as engineers, using their skills, but they face massive discrimination. Airlines won't hire female pilots, too risky. What if you get pregnant? Technical schools won't admit them. Women should be teachers or nurses, not engineers. Some night witches end up working as janitors, secretaries, jobs far below their skills. Nadezhda Popova, 852 combat missions, becomes a flying instructor at a civilian flying club, teaching students who have 1/100th her experience. Others simply give up, get married, raise families, never fly again. The silence. For decades, the night witches are forgotten. The Soviet government doesn't talk about them much. They're a footnote in history. Why? Some historians say it's because acknowledging female combat pilots challenges Soviet gender norms. If women can fight wars, why can't they have equal rights? Better to downplay it, forget it. By the 1960s-70s, most Soviets don't even KNOW the night witches existed. 1980s, Glasnost. Mikhail Gorbachev, Soviet Union opening up. Historians start researching the night witches, interviewing survivors. Books are written, documentaries made. The stories come out. The world learns, holy shit, there was an AL female bomber regiment that flew 23,000 combat missions? Western historians are shocked. Why did nobody tell us about this? The night witches start getting recognition. Finally, 40 years late. But most are elderly now. Many have already died, never receiving the honor they deserved. Today, the night witches are known, but are they understood? What's their real legacy? And why does their story matter now? Let me tell you about specific missions. Specific women, because this isn't just statistics. These are stories. Mission 1. The Bridge, August 1943. The Germans are retreating across a strategic bridge. If they destroy it, Soviet advance stops. Orders come, destroy the bridge before the Germans blow it up. But there's a problem. The bridge is heavily defended. AA guns everywhere. Searchlights. Fighters. Daylight bombers tried. Failed. Took heavy losses. The night witches volunteer. We'll do it. 602 South takeoff. Heavily loaded with bombs. Maximum weight. They fly to the target. Germans are ready, expecting another attack. The Po-2 South use their standard tactic. 2 decoys. 4 attackers. The decoys draw fire. But this time, the Germans are smart. They don't all chase the decoys. Some searchlights keep sweeping. Some guns keep watching. One attacker is caught in searchlights. A fire tears through the plane. It goes down in flames. Both crew killed. The other three press on. Silent glide. Drop bombs. Boom. Boom. Direct hits. The bridge collapses into the river. Mission accomplished, but one crew lost. 2 women dead. The surviving crews land. No celebration. They lost friends. But the mission was critical. The bridge is gone. Soviet advance continues. Mission 2. The wounded, October 1943. Soviet ground troops are surrounded. Cut off behind German lines. Running out of supplies. Wounded dying. They need medical supplies, ammunition, food, desperately. But it's too dangerous. German fighters patrol constantly. Daylight drops or suicide. The night witches will do it. They remove the bombs, load the planes with supply crates. As much as the Po-2 can carry. Problem, the Po-2 can't carry much. And they need dozens of flights to supply the surrounded troops. Solution, they'll fly all night, as many trips as possible. That night, they fly 20 missions per crew. 20, land, reload, take off, repeat. The Germans realize what's happening. Focus all fire on the Po-2 south. 3 planes are shot down. 6 women killed, but the supplies get through. The surrounded troops hold out. Eventually break through German lines. Survivors later say, "The night witches saved us. We heard them overhead every hour. We knew we weren't forgotten." Mission 3. Yevgenia Rudneva's last flight. April 9, 1944. Yevgenia Rudneva, the brilliant mathematician navigator. 645 combat missions. Hero of the Soviet Union, she's flying a mission over Crimea. Heavy German defenses. Her plane is caught in searchlights. A fire hits the engine. The plane is going down. Rudneva has one job, navigator. But in an emergency, she's also the bombardier. The plane is falling, on fire. She has seconds. She grabs the bombs, all 6, throws them at the target, while falling, while burning. The bombs hit. German ammunition depot explodes. Massive secondary explosions. Rudneva's plane crashes. She's killed instantly. Age 24. But her bombs destroyed a critical German position. Probably saved dozens of Soviet lives. She's posthumously awarded Hero of the Soviet Union, the highest honor. The cost. These stories repeat over and over for 4 years. Women dying in flaming wooden planes. Women completing missions despite wounds. Women refusing to quit. By the end of the war, 23,000 combat missions, 32 women killed, countless wounded. But the Germans never adapted to their tactics, never stopped fearing the night. Because every night, without fail, the whoosh sound came and bombs fell. The night witches fight from 1942 to 1945, 3 years of continuous combat. They fly in the Battle of Stalingrad, the Battle of Kursk, the liberation of Ukraine, the push into Poland. And finally, May 1945, Berlin. The 588th flies missions over Berlin itself, bombing the last German positions. May 8, 1945. Germany surrenders. The night witches have won, but victory doesn't mean honor. After the war, something happens that will enrage you. The Soviet Union betrays these women, and history almost forgets them entirely. The night witches faced TWO enemies, the Germans, and Soviet sexism. Even though they're flying combat missions every night, male pilots don't take them seriously. At air bases, they're given the worst quarters, the worst equipment, the worst mechanics. Male pilots mock them. Go back to the kitchen. War is for men. When night witches are shot down and killed, some male pilots say, "See? Women can't handle combat." Higher command is skeptical. Maybe this female regiment was a mistake. But the 588th has one advantage, results. The statistics. By late 1942, the 588th has flown over 10,000 combat missions, dropped over 3,000 tons of bombs. Their accuracy rate is higher than male bomber units because they fly low, get close to targets. Their casualty rate is lower than comparable male units because their tactics are superior. But most importantly, German soldiers are terrified of them. Night witches have psychological impact beyond their bomb tonnage. Soviet High Command notices. These women are effective. Orders come down, give them better equipment. Better quarters, more support. The male pilots notice too. The 588th is getting results, undeniable results. Slowly, grudgingly, respect grows. The ACES. Some night witches become famous. Nadezhda Popova flies 852 combat missions, more than any Soviet pilot, male or female. Shot down multiple times, survives. Yevgenia Rudnova, navigator, brilliant mathematician, calculates bomb trajectories in her head in seconds. In the dark, kills hundreds of Germans. Irina Sabrova flies 1,008 missions. 1,000. Survives the entire war. These women become heroes, not just in the regiment. Across the entire Soviet Union, newspapers write about them. Radio broadcasts their stories. Stalin himself mentions them in speeches. The night witches prove that Soviet women are as brave as Soviet men. By 1943, the skepticism is gone. The 588th is respected, feared by Germans, honored by Soviets, but respect doesn't stop bullets. And the worst is yet to come. 1943 to 1944, the war intensifies. The Germans are retreating but fighting harder, desperate. And the night witches are flying deeper into German-held territory. More dangerous missions, more losses, and individual stories of heroism that will become legendary. Let me explain how the night witches operated. Because their tactics were genius. The mission, a typical mission, 3 Po-2 biplanes, crew of 2 each, pilot and navigator. They take off at dusk, fly 60 to 100 miles to German positions. In the dark, no lights, no radio. Navigation is done by landmarks, rivers, roads, towns, memorized from maps. If it's cloudy, stars aren't visible, they navigate by compass and dead reckoning, guessing. They reach the target area. German searchlights are sweeping the sky. Anti-aircraft guns ready. German fighters patrolling. The Po-2 South fly at 10,000 feet. Out of searchlight range. The attack. Here's where it gets insane. The lead plane flies toward the searchlights, deliberately, drawing fire, acting as a decoy. Germans focus on her. Searchlights lock on. A gun's fire. Fighters scramble. While the Germans are distracted, the other 2 planes cut their engines. Glide silently toward the target. No engine noise. Just wind through canvas wings. Hoo-oo. They glide down to 2,000 feet. Sometimes lower, right over German positions. The navigator looks over the side. Sees the target. Calculates wind, speed, altitude in her head. In seconds, she grabs a bomb, 25 pounds, pulls the pin, throws it over the side. Boom. Direct hit. She throws another and another. All 6 bombs. Gone in 30 seconds. The pilot restarts the engine. They climb. Escape into darkness. The Germans are confused. Where did that attack come from? They never heard the plane. The decoy plane escapes too. They regroup. Fly back to base. Land. Reload. Take off a GAION. Do it all over. 18 times in one night. The conditions. But here's what makes this insanely hard. These planes are open cockpit. No windshield. No heat. Winter on the Eastern Front. Minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The pilots are flying in that for hours. Their faces frost over. Their hands freeze to the controls. Frostbite is common. They wear multiple layers, but it's never enough. After a long mission, they have to be lifted out of the cockpit. Can't move their limbs. The planes are so light, made of wood and fabric, that wind gusts can flip them. Storms are deadly. And the Germans are shooting at them, anti-aircraft fire. Machine guns, fighters. The Po-2 has no armor. A single bullet can rip through the canvas, hit the pilot, hit the engine, set the plane on fire. Remember, wood and canvas, highly flammable. If a Po-2 catches fire, the crew has maybe 10 seconds before the entire plane is engulfed. No parachutes for everyone. If you bail out, you're probably dead anyway. The losses. Despite their skill, the night witches take casualties. Planes shot down, crashes, mechanical failures, bad weather. In 4 years of combat, the 588th loses 32 aircrew. Killed in action. That's a 20% casualty rate. 1 in 5 women who serve in the regiment dies, but they keep flying every night. No matter the losses. The night witches develop a reputation. German soldiers dread nightfall because they know the witches are coming. You can't sleep, you can't rest. Every night, who shoot bombs, they never stop. It's psychological torture. German commanders put a bounty on the night witches. Any pilot who shoots down a Po-2 receives an automatic Iron Cross. Think about that. Shooting down an ancient wooden biplane gets you the same medal as destroying a tank or winning a major battle. That's how much the Germans feared them. But the night witches aren't just facing German fire. They're facing something else. Something from their OWN side. Discrimination, disrespect, male pilots who think women don't belong in combat. October 1941. Marina Raskova puts out a call. Women pilots wanted. Combat duty, high risk. Thousands of women volunteer, thousands, from all over the Soviet Union. Young women, ages 17 to 26. Many are university students, engineers, teachers, all with one thing in common: they can fly. In the Soviet Union, flying clubs were popular in the 1930s. Thousands of young people learned to fly, including women. These aren't society ladies playing at aviation. These are serious pilots, with hundreds of hours of flight time. Raskova interviews them, selects 400, the best of the best. They're formed into the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. Commander, Major Yevdokia Bershanskaya, a veteran pilot. But there's a problem, a big problem. The planes. The Soviet Air Force gives them the worst planes imaginable. Polikarpov Po-2 biplanes. 2-wing planes. Made of wood and canvas. Designed in 1928 as training aircraft. Top speed, 94 miles per hour. Slower than most cars on a highway. No guns, no armor. No radios. No parachutes, not enough to go around. No enclosed cockpit, open air. Freezing cold at altitude, maximum bomb load, 6 bombs, 220 pounds total. Dropped by hand, the navigator literally throws them over the side. The male pilots laugh. You're going to fight the Germans in those? You'll be slaughtered. The women look at the planes. Then at each other. We'll make it work, the training. The 588th trains through fall and winter 1941. While the Germans are besieging Moscow, they learn night flying, navigating by stars, by landmarks. No instruments, no radio. They learn bomb targeting, calculating wind speed, altitude, speed, all in their heads, in the dark, while being shot at. They practice engine-off gliding. The Po-2's engine is loud. Germans can hear it coming from miles away. So they develop a tactic: fly high, cut the engine, glide silently to the target, drop bombs, restart engine, escape. That silent glide? That's the WHOOSH the Germans will learn to fear. The training is brutal. Crashes, injuries. 2 women die in training accidents. But by May 1942, they're ready. The 588th Night Bomber Regiment deploys to the front. May 1942, the 588th arrives at the southern front, near Rostov. Male soldiers laugh when they see them. Young women, flying antique biplanes. Go home, girls. War is for men. The women don't respond. They just get to work. That night, they fly their first combat mission, bombing German positions. No casualties. Mission successful. They fly the next night, and the next. And the NEXT. Within weeks, the 588th is flying 15 to 18 missions per night. Per crew. Read that again. 18 missions in one night. That means taking off, flying to target, bombing, returning, landing, reloading, taking off again. 18 times. In one night. The male pilots can't believe it. How are they doing this? The women. We're motivated. The Germans notice these new attackers, these night bombers who strike constantly, and they start taking them seriously, very seriously. August 1943, Eastern Front, 2 a.m. German soldiers are sleeping in their bunkers, exhausted from months of fighting the Russians. Suddenly, one soldier wakes. He hears something. A sound, faint, strange, whoosh, like wind through fabric. Getting closer, he looks up at the night sky, sees nothing. Just darkness and stars. Whoosh, louder now. Right above them. Then, boom, explosions all around the camp. Bombs falling from nowhere. Germans scramble out of bunkers, firing wildly into the sky, searchlights sweeping. But they can't see anything. More bombs, more explosions, men screaming, buildings burning. Then, silence. The attackers are gone, vanished into the night. This happens every night. For years, German soldiers are terrified. They call the attackers Nachtwechseln, the night witches, because the sound of their planes, that whooshing, sounds like a witch's broomstick cutting through the air. But here's what the Germans don't know. The night witches aren't supernatural. They're real. They're Soviet pilots, flying ancient biplanes made of wood and canvas, dropping bombs by hand, and every single one of them is a woman. This is the story of the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, the most feared bomber unit on the Eastern Front. The women who flew 30,000 combat missions, who the Germans put a bounty on, who changed warfare forever. This is the Night Witches. June 22nd, 1941, Operation Barbarossa. Nazi Germany invades the Soviet Union. 3 million German soldiers, 3,000 tanks, 2,000 aircraft. The largest invasion in human history. The Germans advance fast, 400 miles in 3 weeks. Leningrad surrounded. Moscow threatened. The Soviet Union is collapsing. Millions of soldiers killed or captured. The Red Army is desperate. They need everyone. Men, women, children. Anyone who can fight. But there's a problem. Soviet military doctrine doesn't allow women in combat roles. Women can be nurses, support staff, but not fighters. September 1941, a young woman named Marina Raskova goes to Stalin himself. Raskova is famous in the Soviet Union, a record-setting pilot, a national hero, like Amelia Earhart in America. She tells Stalin, "Women want to fight. Let us form aviation regiments, all female. We'll prove ourselves." Stalin is skeptical. Women flying combat missions? Ridiculous. But he's desperate. The Germans are 50 miles from Moscow. He needs every advantage. Stalin agrees. Fine, form your regiments. But if you fail, it's on you. Raskova doesn't fail. She creates 3 all-female aviation regiments, fighters, dive bombers, and night bombers. The Night Bomber Regiment becomes the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, and they become legendary.